Hi, good morning. Welcome to Good Lord. I've forgotten to do something which is a bit silly of me, but there you go. Welcome to Tuesday on Homemade TV. My name's Chris Gosling, and it's 11 o'clock on the 23rd of June 2020. Here we go again with one of our little programs. This is a short kind of program, essentially because I wanted to do something earlier in the week than the regular Friday slot because I'd like to do 2 or 3 a week. So I've done a quick kind of program today to kind of keep things rolling, I guess you should say. But we've got some interesting little clips that may be of some value to you. And let me have a look at the first one first, because that really is a rather good one. I like this a lot. I don't know if you remember, but we had a chat the other day about the TV license. The mighty BBC's new Director General has said that he doesn't like the TV license increase for people over, well, application for people over 75. Currently, if you're over 75, you don't have to pay a TV license. The current move from the BBC is to make everybody pay unless you're in a position of getting means tested benefits as a pensioner. So that will cut a lot of people out of getting free TV licenses. I've got an interesting opinion on it from my point of view. It may or may not be an interesting opinion from your point of view, but my personal opinion is that the BBC really these days does too much. It tries to be all things to all men, and I'm not convinced that that's really what it should be to everybody. Just let me have a little look and say hello, Norman Nelson. Norman Nelson, good morning to you. So that's the question on that one. What does the BBC do, and is it really of value to have what we have from the BBC? When you look at Radio 27, which is music for people who come from Bognor Regis or something, or whatever, they seem to do so much. And when we watch BBC, they're forever promoting their own products, like podcasts. They do, I don't know how many 100 podcasts they do, but they do hundreds of them, and we pay for them whether we listen to them or not. My honest opinion of the BBC in this day and age, let me just adjust my camera. Thank you. Okay, my honest opinion in this day and age is that maybe the BBC should consider itself on its core product. So it's got the BBC News, which we love, I think, really. It's got it's got the BBC News, which we love, which is an essential and pretty good service, I think, really. BBC One, good entertainment. BBC Two, good entertainment. Then it's got the radio stations and the local radio stations. And why not stick with that? 4 radio channels, 3 TV channels, local radio. Thanks very much. All the rest is just kind of ultra minority stuff. And commercial companies, I believe, do it better than the BBC. I don't know what you think. I would love to know what you think. So if you have an opinion about this, let me know. I'd really like to hear what you think about the BBC, the license fee, and how it all works. Because in reality, I really do think that the BBC license fee is way over the top. They do way too much stuff. The commercial parts of the BBC do really great, but the BBC parts that are paid for by the license, I'm not very convinced. Okay, what do you think? I'd like to know what you think about the £157 a year that the BBC wants to charge everybody over 75. If you're over 75, please get in touch and tell me what you think. Do you get good value for that? I think the reality is it's open to question. It depends on what you think. Got another one for you, which I think we might find interesting. Let's go to that one. Okay, and this is, again, a pension-related... I guess all my content today is pension-related, but we'll get back to that. This is a pension-related thought about... Oh, someone's gone. This is a pension-related thought about why our pensions are less good than others. And I wanted to draw to your attention an article in the Times newspaper. Good heavens, I can't afford to buy the Times. But article in the Times newspaper, which is about the scale of differences between pensions in different countries and pensions across the UK compared with pensions across the rest of Europe. And it's a bit of a scary one because I think that our pensions, our state pensions, seem to be much lower than, in reality, what other European countries pay their pensioners. What do you think? Do you know, or have you done any studies on what other people in other countries, friends, relatives, get as an overall retirement package compared to what we get in the UK? I'm fascinated with this one. And my fascination with pensions continues with this topic, which is called the triple lock. Now, the triple lock is really an interesting one. Apparently, the government, in the person of Dear Boris, said to us all some time ago that he would guarantee to keep the triple lock going. What the triple lock gives us, in effect, is a lock between the different inflation measuring or increasing cost of living measuring devices that the state owns and operates, and make sure that pensioners get the best of it. So, in other words, if the cost of living in respect of food and drink, etc., goes up by 5%, okay, and if the inflation goes up by 3%, let's say, and what the pensioners get out of that, the pensioners should, strictly speaking, get the top one, the highest amount. So in other words, in that one, we'd get 5%. So 5% would be quite a nice figure to have on our pensions, let's be honest. But what the government or people within the government are now saying, shouldn't we cut back that triple lock and make it maybe a double lock? So we take out one of the factors, and we'll take out the factor that's going to be highest, so we keep those pensioners in their place. I think the reality, going back to the previous note, is that in fact pensioners are already pretty poor as an overall community. There are some extremely well-off pensioners. There are some comfortably off pensioners. I'm at the moment reasonably comfortably off, but I'm not rich. But having said that, we're doing fine. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a situation in which they're talking about coming back on the annual increases to a lower factor than the highest of three, come back to maybe the highest of two different factors that would keep pensions a little bit lower than they would otherwise be. I think it's crooked. I don't know what you think. I don't like, in general, politicians, as you probably are aware. What a bad thing to say. But there you have it. Okay, I'm going to cut away from that now and come back to my ugly mush. What can you say? I'm doing something wrong here because I'm not getting the right picture that I want to get. But having said that, there you go. This is still an experiment, and I am still learning how to make live videos. I haven't done it for years. But there you go. So we'll see where that goes. Okay, fiddling now. There's a fiddle. Here we go. What's going on? My machine is having a moment of truth. And I'm not doing very well with that. But there you go. I have another machine which gives me your comments and things like that. And so hopefully, if you do make a comment, I can get to read it, which is quite nice. Anyway, that's me for this morning. What else have I got to bring you? Well, I can say to you, first and foremost, we will be having the mighty David Jennings, the tech nerd, online, I hope, later in the week. We will be having the excellent Mike Harvey Murray online soon. I hope he'll be on next week. I hope he's doing better, actually, to be honest with you, because he's been laid up for a while, which is one of those things I think that happens to us all. But hopefully he'll be able to have a chat with us next week. And also, we're starting a newsletter next week. And if you want to be involved and get a copy of the newsletter every week, then make sure you watch Friday's show. Going to be back online on Friday with more, I guess, what some people might call old tosh, but I hopefully will call a decent little program. Okay, I am Chris. This is Homemade TV, and I'll see you soon.